Yeah, congratulations on the very nice activity.
We are very happy to have you in our activity. We are going to have traductions. Please speak slowly so the traductors can do their works. Let me present you.
Yes.
El doctor Michael Pascu es profesor, es doctor en medicina veterinaria de la Universidad de Filipinas, con maestría en administración de empresas de la Escuela de Administración de Empresas de Filipinas. Y tiene doctorado en administración de empresas de la Universidad de La Salle de Filipinas. Inició su carrera académica en el 2016 siendo profesor del programa de doctorado en administración de empresas de la Universidad de San Beda y panelista de disertación en la Universidad de La Salle, ambas de Filipinas. Sus investigaciones se enfocan en la innovación para la gestión, los métodos investigativos, las estadísticas fundamentales, las estadísticas avanzadas, la estrategia empresarial, las ventas sostenibles y los mercados emergentes. En el ámbito profesional, con cerca de 23 años de experiencia, se ha desempeñado como asociado, asesor, consultor, gerente de ventas, gerente de marca, gerente de marketing, gerente de implementación en tecnología, gerente de desarrollo comercial y director de desarrollo comercial en organizaciones del ámbito relacionadas con el tema veterinario. Tiene certificaciones en Big Data, inteligencia artificial, mercadeo global, ventas globales, así como en la cría de cerdos y aves de corral. Su presentación se titula ¿Cómo la calidad de la experiencia afecta la decisión de los clientes para repetir las compras? Evidencia desde un call center en las Filipinas. So, Dr. Pascu, you can begin.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the introduction. So I can share my screen. Buenos dias to everyone. So I'm Dr. Michael Pasco, as introduced, and I'm very honored to join UNAPEC in Dominican so that we can share our experiences in customer service. Actually, I'm not working in a call center, but hopefully my partner, Clean Rose Lau, who is also an MBA, my classmate in De La Salle University, can join us tonight in the Philippines and I think near lunchtime in Dominican Republic. So the title of our presentation is How Does Quality Experience Affect Customers' Repeat Purchase? And this is an evidence from a call center in the Philippines. So these are the authors of this work. As I have mentioned, we have Miss Caroline Rose G. Lau, who is now a country director of a call center, business process outsourcing company in the Philippines. But previously, she is also a vice president of a call center. So now she is holding a business and has greater responsibility in this respect. And I am Dr. Michael Pasco, and I think what I can share is my 23 years of experience, although I'm not that perfect in customer service, especially in the field of sales, marketing, and business development. But as a veterinarian, my experience is more on handling customer concerns, management, and technology deployment in animal premix business and also feeds business, or what we call animal nutrition. I am part of Archer Daniels Midland, a US global company, and formerly worked at Cargill for 18 years with the same exposure. And animals can easily be handled, but people and business are more difficult to be managed. That's why I was encouraged to take up Doctor of Business Administration. And now I have my personal desire to share a research-based approach in handling different problems and providing solutions. That's why I became interested in exploring and sharing knowledge and skills in managerial statistics and advanced statistics. So the preface of my presentation will be introduction of the call center at a global context. I would like to also share customer satisfaction, and particularly the one call center operation in the Philippines that is particularly in providing services and handling concerns on phone support. So we also wanted to explore the relationship and explain the relationship between the measurements of service quality to repeat purchase. And of course, if the customer is satisfied, we wanted to really confirm if repeat purchase will come in. The Servgual Model by Parasuraman and others is the inspiration of this research. And we came up with a conceptual framework, research methodology, and determined what are the predictors in logistic regression analysis that will determine customer satisfaction in phone support. So we have also some of the takeaways, and this will be the wisdom from this research. And our research is also not perfect. It has several limitations. That's why we wanted to share some of the implications to management practice and also the implications for future research. So this is an example of the data that we can use to describe the global market for call centers. While it is being looked upon as around 496 billion US dollar in terms of potential, in 2020, it was projected that it will be already at 339.4 billion. But because of the pandemics and the crisis that we suffered globally, it is estimated by Magellan Solutions in 2022 that the potential revolve around 250 billion US dollars. But in spite of the amount of $250 billion, lesser than 496 billion US dollars, we can say that it's still a large business, and there are lots of money to be taken with by venturing into this business. And as a matter of fact, the call center saved the situation in the Philippines and even made the Philippines into a rising star or a rising tiger in terms of economy, especially before the COVID-19 pandemics, when we suffered that situation. But our economy became stable, and with digitalization, call centers are really contributing a lot to the economy of the Philippines. And some of the famous call centers will be, for me, it will be Convergys, Concentrix. So have Alorica, we have IBEX, we have IBM Global Process Services, we have Tata Consultancy Services that also have taken large multinational and global companies in exchange of government deal to have an exchanges of business with India and North American countries. We also have Teleperformance, and we also have Convergys Corporation. So these are some of the call centers that are present around the world and also present in the Philippines. In the next slide, we can see the position of Philippines in the business process outsourcing industry. The Philippines call center is not yet achieving 40 billion US dollars, but it is on the way to contributing 40 billion US dollars It is second highest in communication based on some of the evaluation of center agents. And the Philippines is also fifth best in terms of reliability, or what we call trustworthiness. When we will segmentize the different services or calls, we can divide them into outbound calls, which is 30% of the total services. We have inbound calls, which are 60% of the total services. And some of the hybrid calls, commonly they are connected with functional services. And these functional services are in accounting, research, finance, human resources, and architecture. But as we can see, the inbound call services are the highest because of the need to respond to the concerns and issues and to deliver quality services to different clients. And in the Philippines, most of the clients are in North America. These are in Canada, in USA, and also there were also rising customers or clients in Japan and in Australia and also in the Middle East. I have to, sorry. Some of the numbers in the Philippine call centers. So first, I'd like to express the gender segmentation of the call center agents in the Philippines. 42% are male and 58% are female. So that is how we will divide the call center agents in terms of gender. In terms of manager to agent ratio, we have 1 manager and 8 call center agent. And if we will analyze the attrition rate, so full-time employees have 18% attrition, while part-time employees have 24% attrition. As I have mentioned, 77% came from USA and from Canada. What are the top 5 technologies in call center? First, these are the automatic call distributor. We have the customer relationship management systems, interactive voice response system, internet protocol, and of course, what they are using in calling and communicating. These are the hardwares and classified as telephony. In terms of the top 5 challenges in call center industry, human resources is becoming an alarming challenge to monitor. We also have the cost as the second issue that needs to be addressed. And now there are also rising issues in terms of marketing, technology, and will be others. Excuse me. The next slide. The next slide, I'd like to emphasize customer satisfaction. So customer satisfaction is the complete fulfillment of one's expectations and an attitude or feeling that results from the use of products and services. Customer satisfaction is very important because it is the lifeblood of a supplier and customer relationship. And customer satisfaction is indeed important because repeat purchase is an end result. It is an objective. And it is simple. If the client or the customer like it, the customer loves it, and they will buy again, then it is an evidence that repeat purchase is prevailing. So this research that I have mentioned is really inspired by the Servgual model. So the Servgual model was initially made by Zitamal, Parasuraman, and Berry. And there were 10 dimensions of Servgual model. These are responsiveness, reliability, competence, access, courtesy, communication, credibility, security, understanding, and tangibles. And customer satisfaction are affected by these dimensions. In 1988, Parasuraman, Zitamil, and Berry have reduced the determinants or the dimensions of Servgual model into 5. And these are reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy, and responsiveness. Reliability is about getting trust. It is about establishing credibility. And if someone will do what they say and do what they promise, then reliability will be evident. We also have assurance. Assurance is very important. It is a feel that the client will not fail. The client will not be left behind. Assurance also will also highlight the sturdiness or the durability and stability of the supplier. We also have the tangibles. Tangibles are more about the bearing. The bearing is about the appearance. So what commonly, most of the empirical observations were led by the visual empirical observation. So what the client will see will really determine its satisfaction. So it determines and it measures the facilities, the system. It measures how the clients look like, how they talk, and how they appeal to the clients. That's why tangibles were retained as one of the most important dimensions of service quality. We also have empathy. Empathy is about listening. Empathy is about summarizing what the customer needs. Empathy is something that when there is an issue, the supplier admits, and the supplier also provides the solutions needed. So this is about a two-way communication. And empathy is about caring. This is also one of the top dimensions of service quality and customer satisfaction. And of course, we have responsiveness. Responsiveness is about firefighting. If the trouble sets in, then the relationship can be saved, but it should be fast. It should be quick. There should be a real responsiveness that will be felt by the client. So these are the 5 important dimensions of Servgual model, and it can be abbreviated as RATER. You can see as RATER. These are RATER. So in our study for the call centers, which are embedded in the operation of the phone support call center, so they formed a research instrument that are composed of different characteristics and measures that are related to RATER. And these are resolution, attitude, we have product, we have communication, and we have the first call resolution. So these are the measurements that were rated. So if you will look at the next slide, so we wanted to address the research problem. How does quality experience affect customers' repeat purchase in phone support? And the research questions are, what are the significant predictors of the overall quality of phone support customers' experience? What are the impacts of the overall quality of phone support customers' experience on the likelihood of repeat purchase? So in terms of research methodology, this study was a quantitative, causal, and cross-sectional research. We used ordinal data and was used through rating. There were no assumptions required by Hare, Block, Babin, and Anderson. These were the references of the multivariate statistics, and in a parametric test, we did not normality. We use ordinal logistic regression for the analysis, and this is a cross-section. This is a survey type of research wherein selected clients were gathered with data through survey method. In terms of the profile respondents, we have 5,706 respondents. We have 25 question items, and the products that were involved were network products and routers for personal use or as affiliate of large enterprise and SMEs where the customers came from. Why are the clients receptive in this study? Because they were classified as small, medium, and enterprise. So most of the respondents were classified under this industry. Thus the knowledge, the smaller scales, limited capital, lack of expertise, and fewer workforce in documentation, logistics, communication, maintenance of information, technologies, and some of the characteristics of SMEs made these clients to be receptive to the external support, as also described by Patmore and Hadoop in 2015. So we have 88% satisfied clients from the 5,706 respondents interviewed, and 57% rated excellent. A call center in the Philippines, this is one of the limitations because this is one organization instead of several organizations to be studied. In terms of the explanatory power, we have the Shudi R-square Cox and Snell, which is around 0.40 for overall customer experience and 0.63 for repeat purchase. And these are substantial enough to explain that the dimensions or the predictors have the capacity to explain the dependent variables such as overall customer experience and repeat purchase. In terms of hit ratio or the percent correctly classified, we have 88%, and this is better than 50% or even 75%. So this is already outstanding in terms of classification for percentage correctly classified. Although we can evaluate at 1% level of significance, this study was tested with discipline on 5% level of significance. These are some of the backgrounds of the results. So in terms of the conceptual framework, so as I have mentioned earlier, the dimensions are resolution, wait time, communication, attitude, products, and first call resolution. And this affect quality customers experience. And we also argue that quality customers experience affect repeat purchase. In terms of results, resolution showed no significant impact on quality customers experience, but wait time, communication, attitude, product, first call resolution have all significant effect or influences on quality customers experience. In terms of repeat purchase, it was also tested that quality customers experience affects repeat purchase. In terms of the numbers from statistical analysis, we found out by measuring resolution, giving ordinal rankings or ratings, ordinal ratings. So we evaluated resolution, wait time, communication, attitude, product, and first call resolution. Some of the measurements will be 1 for yes, 0 for no. And for the quality overall customer experiences, we have wait time, communication, attitude, and product rated with 5 excellent, 4 very good, 3 good, 2 fair, and 1 poor. In terms of first call resolution, we rated 1 if the call will only be 1 call. and then 2 for 2 calls, 3 calls, and 4 for 4 calls. So with this, we can see that the higher the score for the resolution, which is there a solution? Yes. It means negative impact on customers' experience.
Aparentemente se le apagó la computadora al doctor Lau. Perdón, al doctor Vasco. Vamos a esperar unos minutos a ver si se conecta.
Sorry for the technical difficulty. Can I again now share? So going back to the statistical analysis, we have seen that wait time, communication, attitude, and product, since this have positive notation, it means that the higher category are favorable. For wait time, so the higher the wait time, the higher the customer experience. For communication, the higher the level of communication, the better will be the customer experience. We also have attitude and product, wherein the higher level of experience on these 2 dimensions will also determine a higher level of customer experience. So in conclusion, in terms of narratives, we have to keep the high ratings of call centers customer experience in phone support by managing product, attitude, wait time, communication, and first call resolution. These are the significant dimensions. These are the important dimensions. Okay. We have to work for repeat purchase. Customer loyalty are results of regular interactions, personalized approach, context of location, settings, values, commitments, trainings, time allocation, and reinforcements. Products and product quality with clear information, durability, conformance to standards, suitability on customers, and relevant situations. These are the most important predictors of quality customers' experience in phone support. So we need to shoot for repeat purchase. Customers are not patient with headaches. Prevention of customer complaints from happening is a must. First call resolution, we may have a chance of recovering customers, as I have mentioned, by relieving pain points at fastest possible time. But the best is really not to experience something that will require resolution. Empathy, so it entails skill, and it entails the perceived caring of the call center agents in the communication and interaction. And these are truly important to keep positive customers' experience. The overall customer's experience affects the repeat purchase, as also expressed by the chi-square method in the analysis of the dependence of customer satisfaction and repeat purchase. Because of the developed confidence over time, and the customer's expectations will met. For managers, operational excellence is a must. So they must do their products and services well. So it is a must. So there must be a different approach in achieving operational excellence, but the strategy to grow is a different thing. Strategies for growth. And the strategy must be customer focused. The customer must be in the heart of the strategy. And communicating care through empathy will be one of the best strategies in call centers. It is part of their innovation also and continuous improvement. We need reinforcements. Reinforcements may mean giving rewards. It may mean giving recognition. It may also mean giving some communicated penalties or some of the exchanges if the customer will also not perform their promises. Innovative and effective ways to increase repeat purchase by clients will really needed to be determined and think about. This is something that needs to be analyzed and be prepared so that customers' quality experience can be achieved. For research limitations, we have a regular survey in a single call center in the Philippines. The products and services are limited to phone support, network, and routers. And this is non-parametric tests that gives indications of relationships and important dimensions. And we can access these customers through this phone support company. However, we did not create a parametric model that can explain the phenomena in service quality in call center. So this is an avenue so that we can encourage further research in this respect. In terms of research implications, we can check if the non-significant predictors like resolution are significant mediators or moderators. We can expand the list of predictors to also increase the Cox and Snell or pseudo R-square and even the coefficient of determination. If they will be doing the quantitative model. Compare the results of customer satisfaction survey of other call centers, products, and services. We need to also develop a model and equation related to the study. But most of all, human resources practices to safeguard the performance of call centers agents are truly satisfying. And human resources will address the number one investment and issues that are very important in call center. And these are manpower, the call center agents, and these are the recipe in human resources. So with this, I'd like to thank you for listening and for giving us the time to share one of the best experiences that we have in our academe here in San Beda University and De La Salle University, as well as the experience of our country that made us survive, that made us thrive, and made us economically stable in the midst of different challenges. So, salamat, thank you very much, and gracias.
Muy bien, excelente presentación. Dr. Pasco, can you choose the global icon?
Yes,
and choose English.
Okay, global icon and then English. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I can speak in Spanish and you have a traductor. Bien, preguntas para el doctor Pasco. Lo que van decidiéndose. Menú servicio calidad. Veo que habla de confiabilidad, aseguramiento, tangibles, empatía y capacidad de respuesta. En su estudio se determinó si alguno de ellos incide más o tiene el mismo nivel de incidencia.
Also, which is, yes, we have written it in our journal article that the most significant predictor or the most influential is product in our survey. And product, this will really be on, if we will analyze rater, this will be more on reliability and even on tangibles. No? But reliability of the product is the most important. It means it is really the responsibility of the company to deliver the most reliable products, and for call centers, the services. So if we will have responsiveness or we will have resolution, these are just firefighting or band-aid therapy to address the issues. But as I have mentioned, the most significant determinant of customer experience, overall customer experience, is product or product quality.
Ok, en calidad de producto. Otra pregunta. A veces los clientes reaccionan molestos cuando se comunican con uno de las personas que atienden el call center. ¿Qué usted recomendaría para el entrenamiento de ese personal, para que pueda reaccionar?
Yes, actually, it entails a global training. It's not just a local training. It should be synchronized within a call center. And in the company, I also work with two global companies like Cargill and ADM. They invested in skill development. And what is this skill? This is about communication. And they can name it either training or communication or customer service training. So what are embedded in this training? First is how to really conduct empathy. So we know that empathy is important, but how can you do it? Next, how can you position your ideas and concepts and your stand? Because we cannot also allow the clients to be on top of the situation. We should also be balanced so that we will not go into the pitfall that we will be paying or we will be penalized for the incidents that may not be within our will. So those are the trainings that will be needed: how to listen, how to talk, how to respond, how to position. And if this training, not just theoretically, but in terms of conversation, can be addressed, and the customer will feel that they were being listened to. So when they are sad, the suppliers, they feel that are also sad, and when they are happy, the call center agent are also happy, then the likelihood that there will be stronger ties or relationship, acceptance, or call center services recognition will be evident. So did I answer the question?
Sí, me parece bien.
Okay, thank you.
Hay otra pregunta. ¿Cuáles de las variables del modelo utilizado ha tenido la mayor incidencia en la satisfacción del cliente, de acuerdo al estudio? Es una pregunta que hace uno de los que están en la sala.
Yeah, as I have mentioned, customer satisfaction, because we measured it with the relationship with overall customer experience as the dependent variable or the impact. The highest is product. Next will be attitude. That's why attitude should not make a friend or foe bias. So it should always be on the friend side for the call center client. So in the theory of the friend and foe bias, if you are a foe, then suddenly whatever you will do, there will be some trouble. And then the next will be with almost at the same level will be wait time and communication. But since the differences on the estimates or the logistic regression estimates of wait time, communication, and attitude are almost the same, 1.00, 1.01, 1.09, it seems that the product, the reliability of the products really prevailed in affecting customer satisfaction. So, yeah, is it okay? Yeah.
Sí, that's okay. En nuestro país también tenemos muchos call centers y pienso que pudiera luego un poco más de tiempo pensar en algunos trabajos colaborativos entre usted y algunos investigadores de nuestra universidad. Pero mi pregunta va, para la economía de Filipinas, ¿qué peso tiene los call centers? ¿Son una actividad que incide mucho en la economía de Filipinas?
Well, as I have mentioned, it is one of the top contributors for GDP. So it's very important to our economy. We also have a lot of overseas contract workers. They contribute a lot of dollars to the Philippines, but there were points in time that the call centers increased employment rate and increased the living standards. Most of the young people, and I have shown you that they were around something like 22 to 34-year-old. They have lots of jobs. But I have here the expert for call center. I have here Miss Carol Lau. Maybe she can also give some insight about the contribution of the call center industry in the Philippines. Hello, Miss Carol.
Hi, hi everyone. Actually, I agree with you, especially now with the pandemic. The government has allowed work from home set up for the call center employees. So it has been very much helpful and very beneficial to the employees and to their families. Another challenge now that we are experiencing is that there has been talks around that call center employees will be needing to go back to the offices aside from the work from home setup. However, it looks like the government will be into the hybrid model. So moving forward, it will be 50% work from home and 50% office-based jobs. So it's going to be very beneficial and very helpful to all employees in the very near future. Thank you.
That's good.
So we will welcome a collaborative research with your university. And we are very passionate to contribute to the body of knowledge that will really contribute to this industry. So I'm in the animal industry, for instance, for pork, we have 10 billion US dollar, but look at call center industry in the Philippines, around 40 billion US dollars soon. So this is really a growing contributor to the economy, especially in the Philippines.
Muy bien, excelente. Bien, doctor Pasco, no hay más preguntas en la línea. Le damos las gracias de nuevo por su apoyo y por su entusiasta colaboración con nosotros. Le damos las gracias a su colega, la señora Lau, por haber también participado en este esfuerzo. Y nada, contamos con usted para nuevas actividades.
Thank you very much. We would like also to invite you in the future for opportunities for this type of research summit. So thank you very much to all of you.
Muy bien. Pase buen día.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye bye.
You.
Welcome. Vamos con el doctor Alfius Viteco.
Hello everyone. I am here.
Yes, we are going to begin. Let me present you.
Okay.
Can you choose the global icon? And choose English.
Yes, it's on.
Okay. Así va a tener un intérprete que va a hablar correctamente en inglés. Vamos con su presentación. El profesor Liteco es doctor en gestión de negocios de la Universidad del Noreste de Sudáfrica, con maestría en comercio y maestría en administración de empresas de la misma universidad. Además, se ha diplomado en gestión financiera y gestión de proyectos. En el campo académico ha sido catedrático desde el 2014 y expositor en diferentes conferencias internacionales sobre temas de calidad, satisfacción al cliente, percepción del consumidor, emprendedurismo en el ecoturismo, impacto del COVID-19 en negocios turísticos, así como estrategias de crecimiento para pequeños negocios, entre otros temas. Tiene 11 artículos publicados en revistas académicas indexadas y 8 en proceso de evaluación. En el ámbito profesional, se ha desempeñado como oficial de relaciones comerciales en el Departamento de Mercadeo y gerente de la división de promoción de inversiones en ecoturismo de la compañía Northwest Parks. Así como también fue líder de equipo de la división de mercadeo masivo de la empresa Netbank, ambas de Sudáfrica. Su presentación se titula Gestión de las relaciones con las partes interesadas en el desarrollo del turismo rural africano. Entonces, con nosotros, el doctor Liteco. Puede comenzar.
May I start by sharing?
Yes, yes.
Is it appearing? Is it visible?
Sí, se ve bien. Yes, it looks very well.
Okay. Warm greetings from South Africa. My name is Alpheus Titeko. I am a lecturer and a researcher from the Northwest University in South Africa. We co-authored this paper, me and Professor Potrita, but unfortunately he could not be today. However, I would like to take this moment and to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to present on this platform. And as well as I would like to extend my greetings to all the stakeholders of the conference, the management of the management of EPEC University, and greetings to all participants. The research paper that I will be presenting is titled Stakeholder Relationship Management in African Rural Tourism. If we go to the next slide, the next slide presents. Sorry for that. Let me switch off the phone. The next slide presents the structure of the presentation, and the first component is a description of the African continent. Africa, I'm sure we are all aware with Africa and we know its history. Africa is sometimes nicknamed the motherland due to it being the oldest inhabited continent on the planet Earth, where humans have been living for more than 5 billion years. Africa is located south of Europe and located east of the Central and South America. The African continent has 55 countries plus one African diaspora. That is the world collection of communities that descended from the native Africans, predominantly in the Americas. The Afro-Caribbean people, the majority of the Afro-Caribbean people descend from Africa. Islands such as Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Dominican Republic. There is a strong alliance and connection between the African continent and the Caribbean community in general. Quick stats about Africa overall, or quick facts about Africa in a nutshell. African continent is the second largest Algeria is the largest in terms of land, Algeria, the country Algeria, and Nigeria is the largest by population, and Seychelles Island is the smallest in terms of land and population with an estimated, Seychelles is actually smallest in terms of land and the population as well. Africa is the second most populated continent with an estimated 1.37 billion population with an average age of 20 years. Africa is dissected by the equator and its highest point is Mountain Kilimanjaro, the world's tallest freestanding mountain. The Nile River is the biggest, is the longest river in the world and cuts to 11 countries. The Sahara Desert is the largest contiguous desert and the hottest in the world. Madagascar at the southern region is the largest island. Victoria Falls are regarded as one of the 7 natural wonders and is the largest on the continent. Last but not least, Lake Victoria is the second largest lake in the world. This brings us to the second phase or in the presentation, and that's the state of tourism development in Africa. Africa is a vast continent with the most diverse tourism attractions, filled with large inland forests and unique cultural and heritage sites, nature reserves and picture-perfect beaches, and many more. Some of the attractions are the Okavango Delta in Botswana, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, one of the toppest tourist destinations in Africa. The Kruger National Park in South Africa, one of the top places in the world to spot the Big Five. The Big Five is the lion, the leopard, rhino, elephant, and African buffalo. And also boasts top safari lodges or hotels. The pyramids of Egypt are one of the world's oldest and date back to about 3000 BC. The Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya is one of the top 10 tourist attractions in Africa. One of the highlights is the culture of the Maasai people. There are many more attractions and the list is endless. Now, tourism development in terms of how it impacts or it contributes to the economy of Africa. Tourism is one of the primary drivers of economic growth and job creation in emerging economies throughout the world, more so in African continent. Tourism can act as catalyst for the development of small businesses in related production and service sectors. Through consumption of local products in tourism accommodation, restaurants, and food markets, tourism stimulates goods and services in the formal and informal sector. Sectors such as agriculture, fisheries, light manufacturing products, and the handicrafts. Tourism is a powerful vehicle for economic growth and job creation, in particular the rural areas where there is minimum economic activities. More so, equally important, it creates employment opportunities for women and young people. However, to optimize the benefits associated with tourism development, governments across the African continent will have to supply basic infrastructure and assist in the promotion of the country for marketing and investment. Without private sector's investment in accommodation, attraction, tourism services, and their knowledge transfer to the small business enterprises within the sector, there will be no sustainable tourism development in Africa. More importantly, without the involvement and participation of local people, there will be no sustainable tourism development in the African continent. The following phase is presentation on the state of tourism development in South Africa. South Africa is a country on the southernmost tip of the African continent. The capital cities of South Africa are Cape Town and the Western Cape, in the Western Cape, and Pretoria in Gauteng province. There is a diverse of tourism attractions in South Africa, beautiful cities such as Cape Town and Durban, which are in urban areas. One of the best game reserves in Africa and one of the oldest in South Africa is the Kruger National Park. That offers to view the flora and fauna situated in South Africa while relaxing in luxury lodges. There are numerous tourism activities such as the Cape diving with great white sharks, whale viewing, and numerous cultural and heritage sites. Overall, the state of tourism development in South Africa, in recognition of the importance of tourism as a national priority with the potential to contribute significantly to economic development, the 1996 white paper on the development and promotion of tourism was developed to promote tourism development in South Africa. From 1995 to 2017, international tourist arrivals to South Africa more than doubled from around 4.5 million to over 10 million. And of course, the numbers were aided or were assisted by South Africa hosting numerous global events such as the World Cup and many more similar events. Over the same period, employment directly related to tourism tripled, reaching 4.5% of the total employment in 2017. The contribution of tourism to South Africa's economy is comparable to countries such as Sweden and Czech Republic, that is within the developed countries. However, compared to other emerging countries such as India, Mexico, and the Philippines, the contribution of tourism to the economy is relatively low, indicating the mass opportunity the sector could play in improving the South African economy in 2019. In 2019, the tourism sector contributed 3.7% to the GDP as compared to the mining sector that contributed 8.3% to the GDP in and around the same period. Tourism is a hidden gem that can contribute significantly to the South African economy if it's well managed by all stakeholders, stakeholders such as government, private companies, and the broader community at large. However, post-2019, the tourism sector globally faced unprecedented crisis in the form of the coronavirus pandemic. In response to the pandemic, the South African government introduced one of the strictest lockdown regulations in the world. The hotels, airlines, as well as the cruise operations were temporarily halted from operations, which severely impacted the tourism revenue. Stats SA revealed that in May 2020, all accommodation types recorded large negative year-on-year growth in from accommodation, and the main contributor to this decrease were hotels. With the recent developments in the year 2022, the easing of international travel restrictions and the unbanning of travel restrictions, the government and other role players might now start to focus on the domestic and regional market as part of its recovery plan, instead of overly depending on international tourism markets. As shown that the domestic market is less volatile to external factors as compared to the international markets, such as unprecedented coronavirus, the foreign currencies, and political unrest. Tourism in South Africa can contribute immensely to poverty alleviation, job creation, and preservation of arts and culture, and the sustainable environmental management in the development of rural regions in South Africa. As indicated by United Nations, 75% of the world's poor live in rural areas. As a consequence, the poor living in those areas migrate to urban areas, such as in Johannesburg or Cape Town. People migrate to those urban areas seeking for economic activities like employment or business opportunities. However, South Africa's top tourist destinations are located mostly in rural areas, such as the national parks, cultural sites, wine farms, and many more. And predominantly, the provinces are rural in nature. Provinces such as the Mpumalanga and the Northwest Province. Tourism, if strategically developed and managed, can undoubtedly make a substantial positive contribution towards the development of rural economies. This is important as the economic gap of urban and rural areas will be minimized. This will ensure rural communities remain in rural areas where there is economic activities, meaning that the natural inhabitants or people that come from rural areas will have the incentive to remain within the areas because there will be economic activities, and by doing so, they can become self-reliant by having businesses that operate within the rural area, and that in turn can create employment for the local residents, and the same time can also improve the standards of living within the rural areas. One of the key role players in the development of tourism in rural environment are the traditional authorities. Apart from the traditional duties such as looking after the well-being of the community, land use and development, agriculture, community development, protection or preservation of culture, and conflict resolutions within communities. They are assigned critical roles in assisting government in implementing rural development strategies and service delivery at local level. The role of traditional leaders according to customary law are recognized in the Constitution of South Africa as the public office bearers and are expected to play a critical role in government's strategic objectives. This is minimizing poverty, inequality, and unemployment in South Africa. Chief Pulani is chief of the Bakhatla the traditional authority. He's the chief of the community that resides within the area, and he is one of the 5,300 chiefs in South Africa. The traditional authority is committed to addressing the challenges and promoting the socio-economic development needs of the community and the region. In addition, the traditional authority are assigned critical roles in assisting government in implementing rural development strategies and service delivery at local level. To ensure that there is development in the community, the traditional authority needs to be cognizant of all the stakeholder groups, since all they contribute towards the success of the communities. And stakeholder relationship management in rural tourism development can assist the traditional authority in establishing and maintaining good working relationship with stakeholders. More so, or particularly the community group. The community group includes local residents, business associations, entrepreneurs, educational institutions, and also others. And others can be stakeholders such as national, provincial, and local government that play a critical role in development policies that create a conducive environment for all tourism stakeholders to contribute towards the development of sustainable rural tourism development. The local government operating in the same areas as the Bakhatla traditional authority should be regarded as primary stakeholders and strategic partners in service delivery to the Bakhatla community. The mandate of the two entities, that is the local government and the Bakhatla traditional authority, are similar as they should operate and manage the resources to the benefit of the community Hence, the importance of the traditional authority strategic plan should ideally be reflected and be consistent with the goals and objectives of the local municipality. Overall, the consultation, involvement, and participation of stakeholders, in particular the community group, are needed, especially when strategic decisions are being made about tourism development in the community, because they are the official beneficiaries of whatever success or benefits that come out of the development. Therefore, relationship building and management with local government and the community group at large is an important component in the sustainable development of rural tourism. Before, the process will empower the community group and motivate them to support the tourism development initiatives or the development programs and projects initiated by the traditional authority. Furthermore, this will enable traditional authority to align its strategies, programs with that of the local government in pursuit of developing sustainable tourism in the rural settings when they've established relationships and they have nurtured and managed those relationships. For the following slides presents the descriptions of relationship management over a period of time. From a management perspective, the traditional authority have to be sensitive towards and come into contact with the community group as stakeholders, whose collective views constitute stakeholders' opinions and can assist in the decision-making process. And by doing this, this will also ensure that the communities take ownership of the projects that are being implemented within the area, and they can also provide support to the traditional authority. The success of an organization relationship lies in the development and growth of trust and commitment among its stakeholders. In addition to trust and commitments are important constructs within the relationship building and management. In addition to that, also the organization needs to share their goals. They have to be transparent in terms of their policy making, and they have to communicate their ideas to the community group to ensure that there is buy-in and support from the community groups. According to literature, trust and commitment are noted as the most common denominators for relationship building and management. The conceptual framework was developed for the study, and the traditional authority to build and manage its relationship with its stakeholders in a community group, it lies in the development of trust, as trust will facilitate cooperation between the organization and the community group, promotes loyalty, more importantly, enhance commitment levels of the community group to the programs and projects initiated by the organization. The next phase is the objectives of the study. Firstly, establish the community group's inclination to trust the traditional authority. The second objective is to analyze the community group's commitment levels to the traditional authority. And thirdly, establish the community group's involvement in rural tourism development programs. And last, establish the community group's participation in rural tourism. The next phase in the presentation is the methodology strategy that was adopted for the study. The study area, the community resides in the Northwest Province, in the Northwest Province, and in the Northwest Province of South Africa. As shown in the map of South Africa, neighboring countries is Botswana and Namibia. If we take a closer look at the Northwest Province, the Northwest University is located in Mafikeng, that's where I am situated. It's about 200 km away from the area of study and the research population. If we zoom in further, we can have a look at the 32 villages that are under the administration of the traditional authority. And the research population is approximately 350,000 people that resides in those 32 villages. The villages are nearby the iconic tourism attractions in South Africa, the Sun City Hotel that attracts many international tourists, and next to one of the biggest national parks in the country, which is the Pilanesberg National Park. And there is many more other attractions, and one of those other attractions is the Mpebatu Cultural Museum and Cultural Center. The Mpebatu Cultural Museum and Cultural Center offers tourists an opportunity to learn about the history and unique culture of the Bakatla-Bakafela community. In addition, the Cultural Center is meant to preserve and protect the community's heritage and culture and tradition. Furthermore, discussions of the research method. The ethical clearance was obtained from the varsity's ethical committee, and subsequently the traditional authority was approached requesting the permission to collect data from the research population. More importantly, this was done on the background or on the foundation of, there was an MOU or Memorandum of Understanding was signed between the two entities, that is the Northwest University and the Bakatla-Bakafela traditional authorities. And in picture, it was by then the rector of the university and the chief of the Bakatla-Bakafela community. The questionnaire was used to collect data from the research population, and a covering letter was attached to the question explaining the purpose of the study and why they have been chosen to participate in the study. The judgmental sampling was used in connection with the convenience sampling. So to ensure the effectiveness and the reliability and validity of the research instruments design, a pilot study was undertaken, and furthermore, Kornbach alpha was used to measure the internal consistency, that is how closely related a set of items are as a group. The recommended sample size was 384 when using the 95% level of confidence for a population of 350,000 people. Data was collected in 4 villages out of the 32 villages, and over 800 questionnaires were distributed, and 480 questionnaires were returned, and only from the 480, 359 could be used after data editing and cleaning. The paper was, the research study was limited to the community group as stakeholders, and this did not include the other members or other groups of stakeholders due to the scope of the research project. The following phase of the presentation will focus on the findings of the study. The demographic descriptions of the research, 67% were single, and in most cases, single parenthood households are common in South Africa and concurs with the mean age of 31. And furthermore, a cost tabulation was performed. The following facts emerged. A large group of local residents with school or post-school papers were unemployed. Subsequently, 47% indicated that employment is the biggest benefit they will gain from tourism development if it's implemented. 51% indicated at the current state, tourism business operating in the area did not employ people from the community. A Cronbach alpha was used to measure the reliability and validity of the constructs used in the study. And both constructs shown in the table had excellent reliability coefficient since the scores were greater than 0.7. The first construct, which is stakeholder importance, had 6 items that measured the importance the respondents placed on members of the community group as stakeholders in contribution towards tourism development. And the second construct, which is trust and commitment, had 2 items that measured the level of trust and commitment the respondent placed on a traditional authority as its local destination management organization. The stakeholder importance, a semantic differential scale consistent of a 7-point scale, was used, ranging from 1, which is not important, to 7, very important. The results revealed an overall score of 4.48, which educational and local government had higher scores, and with business association with slightly the lower score. But overall, the results indicate the level of importance the respondents placed on all the members of the community group as stakeholders in tourism development. Overall, in summary, the respondents emphasize the importance of all the members of the community group as they are important stakeholders in the development of tourism within the Bakatla community. Trust and commitment used a similar semantic differential scale that consisted of a 7-point scale, which used ranging from 1, not at all, meaning non-trust or not committed to the traditional authority, or to 7, totally agree or totally trust and are committed to the programs and projects initiated by the traditional authority. The results indicate a mean score of 4.13 for both the level of trust and commitment respondents placed on the traditional authority as an organization who manages the tourism development on their behalf. The findings clearly reflect the respondents were indifferent in their response to both statements. In addition, respondents were asked to indicate whether tourism development is dependent on the involvement of community members. An overwhelming majority of respondents stated or responded positively to the statement that rural tourism industry is dependent on the involvement of the community group. And also respondents were requested to indicate whether they participate in the form of decision-making in rural tourism development. Majority responded negatively, and similarly respondents were requested to indicate whether the community has participated in formulating the laws and regulations of tourism. An overwhelming majority were once again negative in their response. Respondents were given the opportunity to freely express their preferences and needs in terms of tourism development by means of open-ended questions. And unfortunately, only 35 of the 359 respondents expressed their views. The creation of employment opportunity to tourism development in the area was mentioned by 31 respondents. This clearly indicates that the traditional authority, the local government, and other world players should develop strategies that contribute towards creating employment and business opportunities for local residents. Tourism brings entrepreneurship opportunities. It creates employment and has the potential to elevate poverty in communities, in particular rural communities. The last phase in the presentation structure is the recommendations of the study. The recommendations were made under the following headings: relationship building and management. Trust and respect are critical components in the process of relationship building and management. Trust is an intangible factor that binds organizations and communities together for achieving common purpose. As shown in the findings, trust and commitment had a positive correlation relationship. When community group members can trust the traditional authority, they will be more likely to be committed to the tourism programs and projects that are initiated by the organization. The second recommendation is education and training. Tourism awareness and education plays a very important role in the development of a destination. Tourism awareness and educational programs provide information and knowledge about tourism to local residents and will enable them to make informed decisions when it comes to being involved and participating in tourism development. The third recommendation was the involvement and participation of the community group. Overall, the involvement and participation of the community group is vital component for effective planning and implementation of tourism plans geared towards the sustainable development of rural tourism. The last recommendation was SMMEs support. Investing and supporting SMMEs is critical to the sustainable growth and development of tourism in the area, as they will provide services and products to tourism and local residents alike. Tourism brings entrepreneurship opportunities and creates employment and has a potential to elevate poverty in a community, and in particular in a rural region like the BBK community. In conclusion, stakeholder relationship management should be considered as a strategic management tool to attain sustainable development in rural economies, especially for traditional authorities as public organizations that manages the resources on behalf of the community. Managing a relationship will reduce uncertainty among stakeholders and will inspire stakeholders to support tourism and development programs that are proposed by the organization. And as it's written there, it's important for organizations to build and manage relationships if they want to have sustainable development within rural areas or within urban areas as well. As an African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thank you for taking time and listening to my presentation. And special thanks to the organizing committee to once again inviting me to present this paper and the findings to the stakeholders of the conference. And thank you for the platform as well, for sharing our findings. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bien, muchísimas gracias a usted, doctor Liteco, por tan interesante presentación. Aunque somos una nación pequeña, una isla, también tenemos un vínculo con el turismo muy fuerte. Es uno de los pilares de nuestra economía y las experiencias de diferentes países nos ayudan. Y vamos a ver si hay alguna pregunta que los participantes se deciden. Yo no tengo una. Yo estaba viendo que sí, estaba viendo que en el cuadro decía que los grupos comunitarios participan en la formulación del aspecto regulatorio del turismo y la gente opina que no, que la participación es muy poca. ¿Usted qué opina de eso?
Okay. Or should I answer? I think I understand Dr. Pieng's question. Was it around participation of the community group in terms of the participation in the decision-making process and also formulating laws?
Correct. Formulating laws and regulations, as you show in a slide.
Yes. Okay. What was the question? What was the question, Dr. Binks, on that?
What do you think of this feeling of the people about the imagination in el traductor, en la formulación de la regulación? O sea, las comunidades no se involucran, no se les da participación, aunque el turismo les afecta.
Is there going to be a translation?
Los chicos que están apoyando con el idioma, ¿están traduciendo? Julie o Grace.
Okay, Dr. Banks, if I do understand you correctly, just to answer you of the question was based on the participation of the decision making and also taking part in the formulating of laws. Majority of the participants or the respondents stated that at the current state they were not participating. They were not allowed to participate in the formulation of laws and tourism policies within the area. And that's whereby we came up with the recommendations that in terms of impact of as a process of building relationships and managing the relationships with the community group, the traditional authority should be transparent and they should engage and consult the community group when they formulate or when they make decisions and they formulate because that in turn will help will assist the community or the communities will buy in and will have their views being heard and their opinions will be included within the decision-making process, and the community will be able to support the tourism development, and especially so at the implementation phase, because now the community will have ownership of those projects because they will understand the importance of those projects and how it's going to benefit them in the long run. I hope I did answer you, Dr. Banks. I answered it in general terms because the question was not so clear.
Sí, el enfoque me aclara unas cosas. Tengo otra pregunta en relación al tema medioambiental, porque dentro de la relación con los grupos de interés está el impacto del turismo en el medio ambiente. ¿Se levantó alguna información con respecto a eso en el estudio?
Not at the larger scale, even though rural tourism does indicate that the resources, because the resources that are being utilized should be sustained and the environment should not be damaged and should all the times be protected. But not only the environment, the preservation of resources within the environment, but also preservation of the culture and the history. So surrounding the community is surrounded by a national park, whereby the national park also educated the community on the same topic of preservation of the natural resources, which is the flora and the fauna. And they create workshops and educational campaigns just to spread the word and create awareness about the importance of environmental management and the preservation of resources.
Hay más preguntas. Reiteramos las gracias, doctor Liteco, por su apoyo a este esfuerzo de la PEC. Contamos con usted para otros eventos y para también establecer algunas relaciones para trabajos colaborativos en el tema de turismo que también, como nación caribeña, nos atañe. Así que muchísimas gracias de nuevo y que pase un feliz resto del día o la noche. Me imagino que es de noche ya.
Yes, it is night time. It's around 6 p.m. It's 6 p.m.
Okay.
now, half past 6. So thank you so much again for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to us also forming a collaborative partnership with the stakeholders from the conference, and and also doing research together. Thank you for the platform. Thank you. Bye.
Bien, bye. Entonces, nada, hemos terminado con la sesión matutina. Agradecemos a todos los colegas participantes y nos vemos a las 2 de la tarde de nuevo.